I'm Kirsten McGee, and I'm the head of wardrobe at the Arts Club Theatre. I'm also a designer and a costume builder.
Hello, I'm Lorraine. I'm the second carpenter, lead carpenter at the Arts Club Theatre, and has been for 17, 18 years now, I think.
I'm Chris White. I'm also the other second carpenter or lead carpenter. There's only two positions really here.
Yeah, so I'm JC, I'm the head carp. Chris is the baby here. He's only been here for 17 years. I've been here for 26, 27 years now, so it's been a while.
I've worked as the head of wardrobe at the Arts Club for about 7 seasons, and previous to that I did a season as the assistant to the head of wardrobe, and previous to that I worked for probably about 6 or 7 years on and off working in the prop shop and the scene shop, building props and soft sets.
What a lot of our job is that when we get designs from a designer, the designer never has to figure out how it gets built. They always show you what it should look like when it's done. So there's no structure to it, and that's where our job is. So they never really show you how the walls are supposed to stand up, or how something rolls across the floor, or how something opens up. A lot of those times they're just sort of like an opening of a floor with no hole, and then the next drawing is floor with hole, and then that's scene 2, please build that. And that is the fun and the challenge of the job, is that we get to decide how it gets there.
Regular time in here, depending on what kinds of shows we're doing, I can have anywhere usually from most likely like 8 to 15 people in here. And I think for Kinky Boots we would have been like fully maxed out in here, absolutely.
We build so many shows here. We build an average of 16, 18 shows a year. Most other theater companies will build like 5 or 6 shows, but because we have 3 theaters, we're building 5 or 6 shows for each theater, plus also the tour. So it's relentless. We just never stop building. So in a way, I mean, this whole COVID thing has been kind of rather pleasant, just giving us a bit of a chance to slow down a bit.
Okay, so in March we were gearing up to do To Kink in My Hair and Kinky Boots, and we had designs, and we'd started sourcing things for those shows already, and our designer for To Kink was coming in from Montreal, and she arrived on that Monday when Justin Trudeau gave the announcement that everything was going to be going into lockdown. And we, of course, knew it was coming. We had like the announcements of like no more than however many people, and then 50, and then everybody go home. And so it was really exciting to finally meet Nalo, who I had been like conversing with via Zoom and emails. And she arrived that morning, and then she was here in the costume shop for about half an hour before management came down and said, we're really sorry, but we're booking you a flight home as soon as possible. So we ended up just getting some treats and making a pot of tea, and we all just sat around the tables and tried to get to know Nalo a little bit before she was whisked away back home. And yeah, and then we talked about like what does this mean, like how long is this going to be? We had no idea, and everything was just kind of really seemed like it was wide open.
For the first 2 months, 2.5 months, we did not have any access to the shop, and myself personally, I found that a little bit not so much frustrating but antsy, because by nature I think all 3 of us are naturally builders by nature. It's part of our intrinsic nature to be that way, and to not have access to some place where we can build and do things and paint and create, it's like we're missing an appendage almost.
People who are in theater are creative people, and when we are building at such a rate for so many years, to all of a sudden just to be told to stop, it really was quite shocking, actually, because I was home once, and I was being, why aren't you out of bed? Well, there's no reason to get out of bed.
It was you know, really strange because it just kind of got canceled right away, and then, you know, we only cleared out the dressing rooms like 3 weeks ago. It was like everything was just like, you know, the actors took their personal stuff, but the costumes were still hanging, and, you know, there was still, you know, a few little things in the drawers, and, you know, you know, opening night cards and things like that, and it was kind of like, ooh, kind of pulls your heartstrings a little bit to go in and see that. It was like, you know, everything was just as it was left in March.
The show we were building, The Kink in My Hair, which we got shut down on, I think the one thing that all three of us really appreciated about the show is that we all thought it was going to be a really pretty show. We liked the way it looked. And that was, for me, a big disappointment that, oh, we may never see this show. Like Lorraine says, we go to see the show, and it's like, yes, we did this, we're so proud of what we did. And that was a moment of, for ourselves, I think, that the world never got a chance to see that. Yeah.
The other thing that happened in the first couple of weeks of quarantine was myself and some of my coworkers here in the wardrobe shop started looking for some way to help the community, and because we're sewers, we were getting asks from people who knew us as sewers if we could make masks for their companies so that they can continue to work. And so we started doing that just like kind of a volunteer basis, and just asking those people to make a small donation to the Arts Club. But yeah, we're making all these ones for the fire hall. We've got a whole pile of them here. We've got baskets of them all over. These are a whole bunch more cut out, ready to sew. And yeah, we've made hundreds and hundreds of masks.
Being back in the shop, even though we're only working 2, maybe 3 days a week for the Arts Club, it gives us a chance to be builders again and take on those other projects.
I would say the thing that I'm missing the most is working with my coworkers. There's something about working with a group of really talented people that just inspires me. I miss fittings. I love fittings. They're so fun. I love getting the performers in here, and, you know, they're just like, wow, you guys made this for me. And trying to work through all of that, all the technical stuff, you know, and having those conversations, like, they're like, you know, I have to do the splits in this, and you're like, oh, okay. We're like, we didn't, but let's work on that.
I find that it's not always about the play itself, but because of working with the designers and understanding the process as to get to the moment or to get to that, whatever it is that they need to get to. Seeing that in whether in either tech or getting on deck, and just watching that moment evolve and seeing that there is more satisfying than seeing the whole play.
Yeah, I have hard days sometimes when I feel like, is this ever, you know, is my career over? Do I need to look for something else? I've done this for my entire adult life, and so to think that you know, I'm not going to get to work with a team of, you know, 15 people building beautiful costumes ever again is that's hard. It's very hard to think about that. My hope for this is that, you know, as the next, maybe, I don't know how many months it's going to be, but I'm hoping within a year that we'll start to be able to at least have shows as big as in the GI stage, if not bigger. And I hope that we can figure out a way to, you know, get people back to work in this field that is such a, it's a field that's filled with passion. You know, nobody does theater for the money, let's face it. We do it because we love it, and we love being a part of a team of creative people, and just like getting that energy from each other, I think is really, you know, it's important for me to sort of keep me going in all the other aspects of my life. So, yeah.